3, 2, 1. It's go time. Welcome to the show. It's go time. This is the ultimate podcast for salespeople and sales managers that are in the trenches. People that got to talk to people to get a sale. And we're always joined in the studio is the Croatian tiger, Robert Bazaki, our technology genius. Thanks for doing what you do. And then joining us again, Dylan Wynn. What is up, Dylan? Win, no matter what. Rookie of the year last year. And we got a good one here. We're going to be pivoting here on this podcast. We had a great retreat this last weekend with our coaching group, Champion Development. And we figured something out, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Made an adjustment.
Yeah, we're just going to stick to what we know best.
That's right. And so we're going to get deep into our niche on what we know best, on what we live and what we eat and what we breathe every single day. And that is in final expense insurance. You know, Dylan, you've got 2+ years of experience in the trenches. This is my 11th year doing it. And we got a lot to share and lots of lessons learned. And that's what we're going to be really diving into here on this podcast is how to help final expense agents dominate in their agency and then also help out managers as well. Mm-hmm. Because it's a little different being a manager than just a producer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's for some reason it sometimes feels easier just to be a producer than
sometimes you're like, dude, I just want to get in the field by
I just
myself,
need to mute my phone
so I can just go help out Miss Jones, right? But that's what we signed up for. Our president says for sales managers, if you want to be in leadership in final expense, you know what Glenn says?
What he says?
He says, be careful what you wish for. Does that apply?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're making a big pivot on this podcast, and we're going straight and strictly into final expense because that's what we know best, man. That's the language we speak every single day. And, ultimately at the end of the day, like you just found the #1 final expense podcast on the planet.
Stamp it.
I am firmly confident in our ability to help agents succeed in this very hard industry. You know, it's becoming increasingly competitive, especially over the phone. Now we knock doors, and it's not getting increasingly competitive in the field. So we got a lot of good stuff. So if you sell final expense life insurance, you just found home. So welcome home. So what are we talking about today there, Dylan? How do we launch from talking about general sales to final expense sales? You ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about 4 ways to really dominate in your final expense career. And because if you try to do this thing alone, like you are almost certainly going to fail. Our percentage chance of winning in final expense when we try to do it alone, when we don't reach out to our upline, when we just get in the trenches by ourselves and isolate, then our probability to win in this industry goes way down.
And that's everything. Like humans are designed to make connections and to grow together. So like don't isolate. Just
that's right.
Be with each other, grow with each other, and then you guys go a lot further than you want to be.
That's right. And if you're listening right now, you're not isolating, right? You're in the right place. So welcome to the Final Expense Dojo. Right on. So number one mistake that I see from, or one of the biggest mistakes that I see from final expense agents is lead volume. Look, there's no sugarcoating it. In the final expense industry, we're a very lead heavy industry. But isn't it interesting, especially if you pay for your own leads, which I think most agents do? Isn't it interesting how scared we are to take out extra leads?
It's crazy.
How wild is that? But you were that way.
Yeah, I was that way.
And I was that way as well, right? So why do we do that? Why are we scared to take out extra leads, more leads?
Well, when I first started, I was more scared to take out leads because in our company, usually your upline pays for your leads.
To start,
yeah. So I didn't want to come to Pat and be like, look, I'm having a tough week and I need extra leads. So I was always scared, but then every Wednesday I would call him, I was like, hey, dude, I'm out of work. What do I do? And I'll get lectured. He'd be like, so did you do a lead audit the day before? Mm-hmm. No. So why didn't we take out more leads? And I was just super scared to show that I sucked.
Okay, good. So one reason could be Ego gets in the way. Hey, I don't want to tell people that I didn't produce on X amount of leads. Okay, great. Awesome. Name it and claim it, right? Because then you can actually, because sometimes we get in this mindset of like, I don't even know what's going on. I think I know what's going on. But if you can just label it, be like, hey, I'm scared because I don't want other people to know that I took out X amount of leads and I only wrote 1 or 2 apps or whatever's low. So ego, what's another reason why an agent doesn't take out extra leads?
They don't want to do the work.
Absolutely. So I've got X amount of leads going into tomorrow, and you're like, oh, I think I can make it work.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I can
squeeze
stretch
it out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can get it done. And then you finish early, and you're like, oh, I guess that's the day.
I got through all my leads. Yeah, but the truth is, look, you need to have if you're taking notes, you need to have a full body of work every single day that you plan on working. So in our business, this is how it sounds like is, like, hey man, you got enough leads for tomorrow or for today? It's like, yeah, I should be good. If you're a manager, you dive deep in this and you're like, okay, great. How many you got? Oh,
like 5,
like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Around that ballpark.
Yeah, right. It should be good. Because I got a couple B-backs. Like, I'm good. I got a couple appointments. And appointments are disappointments.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They said they want me to come back tomorrow. They've been thinking about this.
Dude, they're going to do it. I promise, man. They're buyers.
They're buyers.
Right? Yeah. There's such a need. All right. But that's code. When I say, hey, I got enough leads for tomorrow and you only got a few, that's code for either I'm scared and like I'm scared of the cost, which we'll talk about in a second, or it's code, like you said, for, hey, I just don't really want to give it a full day of work tomorrow. Because if you don't have enough lead volume for your next day or for your week, you genuinely look at how that feels. Like, what are you actually thinking? And that is like, I'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't go down, okay, great. I'm going to end early. That's it. Like, that's what it is. So you gotta overload on leads, right? You gotta overload on leads. Like, the question is do I have a full body of work for today and for this week? Like, guaranteed, right? So if you're over the phone, it's like guaranteed if you have more non-pickups than you normally do, right? If you knock on doors, it's like it guarantees it if you have more not homes, right? Or one-leggers where it's just mom and not dad, and stuff like that. So you need to make sure that you have a full body of work.
Always.
Like, this is a huge mistake that I see from folks, agents, is like I just don't they don't have enough work and they don't know they're actually doing this thing. I talked to a teammate about it yesterday. I'm like, hey, do you how many leads do you have? Oh, I should have enough. Really? Okay, how many you got? Okay, cool. What if 6 people aren't home before noon? Okay, great. Now you're done by 1 or 2. And then so you actually didn't really want to have a full body of work. You got to be honest with yourself in final expense.
Yeah.
The ones that produce the most, the ones that grow the most, the ones that have the most momentum, the ones that have the most confidence are honest with themselves.
I feel like a lot of people, like you said, scared to bring up more leads. You should have an abundance of leads.
Abundance.
Because each lead is an opportunity for you to make more money, for you to help more family. So it's weird. Because I literally just did this week, so I'm saying this from yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm going to work for 2 hours because I did this and this and this on the way home. And I was like, okay, so 6 should be good. I was spot on. But what I kind of felt guilty was like, dang, I only wrote 1 app. I was like, I could have got more leads and saved, and just worked for 2 more hours.
Yeah.
And had more opportunities to make more money. Then came home, feel more victorious.
Yeah.
But I came home and watched anime. So I was like, oh, dang, dude. I came home too early.
All right, you're off the podcast, man. Come on. There you go. Which actually leads to number 3 on what happened there, which we'll talk about in a second. But lead volume is super important. You got to be on. And thank you for being honest with us there, Dylan. Doesn't everybody love Dylan more for him being honest? You got to be honest with yourself.
I finished the extra work I planned to do yesterday super early. I was like, I'm going to watch anime now.
There you go. So, yeah, and that goes into flexibility and freedom kills. We'll talk about that here later on this episode. But lead volume. Another reason why agents don't take out extra leads is obviously because of the cost. There's a cost of doing business. It's our highest cost of doing business.
Our COA, cost of acquisition.
Cost of acquisition. And so it actually may be, at least for most of us, at least from what I've observed, lead cost is oftentimes our highest expense in our life. right? And so this is how you want to think about leads. It's not a lead cost. It's not a lead expense, even though I just used that language 2 seconds ago. It's a lead investment, okay? So think about Chipotle. All right, let's go to Chipotle real quick. I love Chipotle, right? Just found out that it's chicken thigh and not chicken breast. It kind of
Is it? Oh.
See? Yeah, sorry, guys.
We're going to Qdoba.
I know. There might be chicken thigh too. I don't know. But anyways, I still eat it. But I'm like, I feel like they lied to me because you thought it was chicken breast. Anyways, so think about your leads being materials at Chipotle, right? That's the chicken, that's the lettuce, that's the rice, and all that. Think about Chipotle like just getting enough chicken, and then once they run out of chicken, they're closed. Think about that being with your leads.
They would lose so much money,
dude. It's silly. Yeah. It's like, when a restaurant or somebody's running.
That's crazy you mentioned that. I didn't even thought about it that way.
Dude, but wow. how come we don't think about that in our own business? It's like, yeah, I'm going to get 20 leads or 50 leads or whatever for the week, and we'll shut down shop after we bring them all or knock them all. But like if you think about any other brick and mortar business, that means that like they're closing their doors when they just run out of supplies. Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
But how can we think that in final expense? And it's because of these reasons we're talking about. One of them is cost, right? Is sometimes we get in this thought is, hey, if I take out extra leads, what's the question that rings in our head? So you take out 12 extra leads, and it's $300 or $400 just for Thursday, for your last day of the week, whatever that is. I'm front loading. Or ending my week with a ton of leads. But what's the pervasive thought when we are thinking about taking out extra leads?
Am I going to make the money back?
Am I going to make the money back? What if I don't make the money back? Right? That's going to destroy you, right? That's like Chipotle saying, what if we don't have any customers come in? It's silly. They have set hours, right? They close at 10. Right, they may close at 9:50, right, because they got some lazy employees, right?
But it's always around that ballpark.
Exactly. It's every day. It's not like when they run out of supplies. So think about your business like that. Why are you flipping the open sign to close sign on your days and on your weeks?
Yeah, Alex actually says when you take out leads, like in entrepreneurship reasons, you should be looking for a ROI within 30 days of actually buying that lead. And it really puts you in that mindset of like, I need to be looking in a much further perspective.
Right.
If I'm actually front loading my week, that actually leads to a bigger month. Because if you're just looking at one day, you might like for me, sometimes I take out extra leads and I get smoked. But I know, good. But I know for a fact that when I keep doing that for a month perspective, get ROI on that return that was 2 weeks ago, because we need to start looking as a business perspective, then it makes everything so much better.
100%. Yeah, it's interesting that we get in that thought. So this is where the lead cost comes in. That'll really screw with our mind. Is Pat? But I've taken out extra leads in the past, and then I didn't write anything on it. And then what do we do after that? Then we don't take out extra leads.
Now you're scared.
Now you're scared, right? And so, like Dylan's talking about, is zoom out. Zoom out is like, look, man. You can do the math. Do the math on, like, you have a number, and that is like how many leads does it take or how much premium do you write per lead, right? We call it PPL, production per lead. Everybody has that number. And you can also do the math on profit per lead. How much do I profit for every lead that I take out? Right? If you do the math on that, then you won't be that scared. You won't be as scared. Maybe you'll be even way more confident on taking out extra leads.
That's when I started taking out extra leads.
Dude, it's wild.
When my PPO number was so high, I was like, dude, I'm barely working Thursdays. I should need to pay more than I'll make more. And it's kind of crazy because for me personally, I've always let my past experience prevent me from making future decisions.
It's a human condition.
And we shouldn't allow that to even impact us, because the lion what's the saying? The lion who's on the hunt may not always catch the
gazelle.
Gazelle, thank you. The lion on the chase may not always catch the gazelle, but the lion who has the gazelle always went on the chase. So you always got to be on the chase to get the gazelle every single time, or you'll starve and you may pass away in this business or whatever future business you go into, because that pattern will always repeat no matter where you go, unless you break it first.
You got to be on the hunt. You got to be on the hunt. I think that we talked about that the last episode, maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago. But yeah, we get scared to take out extra leads. Maybe you take out extra leads and you blank on all those extra leads. Oh my God, I lost money today. Like, dude, zoom out. What's your profit per lead, right? Do the math. Like what you'll see is you'll probably be surprised that you like for every lead you take out, you make $40, or every lead that you take out, you make $50. Every lead you take out, you profit $100. So when you do that math and you think about it like that, you're like, okay, great. I'm going to take out 10 extra leads, right? Because I make $50 profit every lead. So that equals $500, so you have a profit per lead. So do the math versus looking at, because what happens is we pay before we earn, and that can be emotionally weird. So number 1 is lead volume. You've got to give yourself enough work on a daily basis. Like if you're running out of work, if you're repeating the same leads over and over and over again, and you're scared to take out extra leads, you are slowly killing your business. You're slowly killing your agency. You're slowly killing yourself. And, because sometimes we feel like we're stuck. Sometimes we feel like we're stuck in the mud. And like, dude, it's because you're not running enough leads, almost certainly. Could be because you're scared. Could be because it's your ego. Could be because almost certainly you're running around with the wrong information, right? So lead volume. Wouldn't it be weird if Chipotle just shut down at 4:00?
Dude, I'd be pissed.
You'd be like, that business model is stupid, right?
Yeah, they're not making any money.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making enough money. That's it. Oh, they're playing to not to lose.
Exactly.
They're not playing to win.
Yeah, if we don't take out enough leads, like you're at the end of the day, you're setting yourself up for failure. So number 1 is lead volume, right? Number 1 is lead volume. When I look at numbers, either on our team or other teams, my fiance is in a different IMO, and almost certainly, if you look at the leaderboard, right, from top to bottom, there's a direct there's a little variation here, but it's really, really close to the ones that write the most premium and the ones that write the most production have the highest lead investment. Isn't that interesting? So it's almost 1-to-1. Like if you look at like their lead investment on the top to bottom leaderboard, it is almost certainly like the ones in the top take out more leads, the ones in the bottom take out less.
I mean, it makes sense. It's like going to the gym, seeing the most jacked person. He's like, I eat 250 grams of protein every day.
And he goes to the gym the most.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's intense.
Yeah, he's fueling his body. And for our business, we're fueling our business with leads.
Yeah.
Our leads is our protein source.
Yep.
Is our diet.
Oxygen.
Is our oxygen for us to keep moving forward.
Yeah. And so if you feel like you're dying in final expense, it's because you're not putting on the oxygen mask. And one of the oxygen masks is leads. Is black and white. So if you need a little kick in the keister to take out more leads, but I don't know if I can afford it. It's like, okay, yes, you can. Like you can't not afford to take out extra leads. Like it's the most backwards thinking that we get into, and it's very natural. It happens all the time, and it's pervasive, and it kills agents, right? It leads to what our buddy Brendan Slocum says: slow death. It's amazing. So number 1 is lead volume. If you can tackle that issue in your mind, in your soul, in your pocketbook, in your business, dude, I swear to you, it'll explode, right? So increase your lead volume and see what happens, which leads to number 2, and that this is an execution game. Final expense, selling life insurance is an execution game. It's an offensive game. It's not a defensive game. So if we can relate it back to lead volume there, Dylan, is what is taking out more leads? Is that offense or defense?
It's offense.
It's offense. It's 100% offense, right? Is you now flip the close sign to open, right? You're on offense, right? And then so what is not taking out extra leads and saying, hey, I'll just use these few leads that I have out. Oh, plus I have some callbacks I need to do, and then I need to do this other stuff, and I'll just recycle the leads. I've got a couple of B-backs. We'll see how it goes. That's offense or defense?
Defense.
It's 100% defense. So if you're having trouble in your business, in your final expense business, it's you need to take an honest look, and you've probably been playing not to lose, and definitely not playing to win, and you are playing defense, and you might not even know it, right? So flip it into another gear and go on offense. This is an execution game, right? The one that gets the most repetitions, the ones that gets the most presentations is almost certainly the ones that are going to win, right? Because you give me somebody who sucks, who doesn't know what to say, but they have a ton of presentations, I can work with that guy. I can work with that gal, right? Because then we have a lot of data to go over, game film, and you're getting a lot of good executions or good repetitions rather. So it's an execution game. So Dylan, talk to us about when you were playing defense and how your business looked, and when you were playing offense and how your business looked.
I was definitely playing defense when I was like five months in the business. It was like finals. I was still in school, by the way, when I was doing this. I was finals week, and then we just came back from Andy Elliott, and I was like, dude, I just spent so much money. I'm not making money. And at the time, I wasn't even paying for my leads, so I don't know why I was so scared to take out more leads. I think I was just scared to work. And we went out there from Monday through Wednesday, and I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna call it. But I only worked those 3 days in December, and I was like, dude, I feel pretty good. I wrote pretty good business, but because I was so limited on myself to work, because I was like, oh, I have some cash reserves. I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm
comfy.
Like, I've worked so hard the past 4 months. I should be good.
Yeah.
No, when I look at my Rocket Money, when I did my profit loss sheet, dude, I made like $2,000, which is pretty cool for 3 days. But imagine if I worked like 12. What would
He's talking 3 days in the month.
Yeah, 3 days in the month. Imagine if I worked 12 days in the month. Where could the things went, right? And then now I look back at it and I'm like, dude, I didn't make anything. I was definitely playing defense because like I have cash reserves. I worked so hard. I got finals. We just came back from Andy Elliott. I'm about to go on a vacation. I shouldn't work at all. I was like, I might as well stay on vacation, not go back.
I'm good.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Dude, it sucked.
Oh man, that's weird.
Yeah, then chargebacks happened, and then December sucked because I was fighting back chargebacks. And you told me I was this second worst ELP agent, earned lead program agent on the squad. And I was like, dude, what? I thought I was doing so good. And I remember I made the commitment. I was like, dude, screw this. I don't want to keep making $5,000 max each month. I think I need to just go gun ho on this thing. I have an amazing girlfriend, Lan. She helped me
Lan.
She helped me a lot with school so I could focus more on the business.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna run Monday through Thursday, gun ho, no matter what. Like, let's do it. And I started doing that, and then my income really started going up. I was taking more leads. Went from 20 to 30 leads every week because I was working Thursday now.
Come on.
And I just kept going. And at first, it was like, dude, I'm putting all this work in, and I'm not getting any money. It's like I'm getting smoked every Thursday. I was like, maybe this is stupid. But then like the third week of me doing it, and I used to not knock at night. Like I used to not like the term last house paid.
Yeah.
I remember I said that on the call. I was like, I've never knocked past 7:30. You're like, what? You haven't?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I remember I was starting to do that. I was getting smoked. I was like, dude, this kind of sucks.
This doesn't work.
This doesn't work at all. But then I was like, on the third week, that was crazy. Like I took the same amount of leads and I started knocking late again and everything like that. And then that's when I got like a 200 MP double on Thursday night.
Come on.
And then that was the first month I hit 10,000 by myself.
Let's go.
And it was just so crazy. It's like, dude, the stuff you're doing does compound.
Yes, it does.
If you stay on offense. Like, it may suck. You're like, dude, I'm getting smoked going on offense. I need to go back on defense.
Yeah.
Because that's human nature to pull your hand off the stove.
I'm working extra. I don't see the results, right? Oh, okay. So let me dial it back. Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's the breakthrough for you to boom it.
Exactly.
Because success and failure live right next door. They're neighbors.
They're neighbors.
They're neighbors. So right when you're at the door of failure, you just have to keep walking forward through the mud, through the dirt, and then boom, all of a sudden, you're at the next door neighbor's house.
Yeah.
And that's success.
Dude, that one lead. So 3 weeks of rocking and rolling, right? And then, but not seeing like a tremendous amount of results. And then the third week, last house, last day of the week, $200 double,
Yes.
right? And in our business, like that's a great house. That's a big house. So fantastic. Because we naturally, like you said, we naturally want to go back into defense because it's safe. Right. I've been going extra hours and I haven't seen the actual result change too much. Right. Okay. So you're looking at the data and you're like, okay, this makes sense for me to dial it back. Why am I working extra? Like I could have been home doing this. I could have been watching the game. I could have been chilling. Why am I putting in the extra hours? Because the data doesn't reflect that. Right. But if you keep going, Like that's you trying to put the defense back on the field, right? But if you keep your offense on the field, you will hit your breakthrough guaranteed, right? This is an execution game. This is not a defensive game. If you feel lack of confidence in your business, if you feel lack of momentum, you are playing defense way more than you care to admit. That is a fact. Take it to the bank. The truth hurts. I'm sorry to tell you, but like you've been playing too much defense in your business. And this is an execution game. This is an offensive game. And the only ones that win big in this business, the only ones that keep money, the only ones that win the trips, the only ones that build a team are the ones that are on offense most of the time, right? So this goes into what Grant Cardone talks about. He says 95, it's his 95-5 rule. 95% of your time, your energy, and your money you throw into offense, right? And whatever that means to you. That's prospecting. That's getting in front of a client. That's getting to presentations. That's taking out extra leads. That's investing in materials. That's investing in training. That's investing in self-development. That's investing in your teammates, right? That is all offense. And then 5% of your time is on how can I cut cost? How can I clean some things up, right? Only 5%. It's not that you completely ignore that. I've done that in my business. Hey, I'm just going to make a bunch of money and then ignore all the costs and stuff like that. That's where things slip through the cracks. That's when it gets messy, and that's not very cool. But 95-5, like that changed my career forever because I'm like, oh, okay. His analogy was like at the casino. I'm going all in.
Every single time?
Yeah, I'm going all in. I'm going all in on today. I'm getting a bunch of extra leads for today. And then you lose all your chips. Well, great. You got more chips, right?
Just keep going.
You have infinite amount of chips when it comes to energy and time a lot of times, right? Times that might not be true, but but definitely on energy, right? And so you can keep going all in on your energy, right? And eventually that's going to cash in. It could be that sit, it could be that lead, it could be that day, it could be that week, but it'll definitely be that month, it'll definitely be that quarter, it'll definitely be that year. Just keep going all in, right? And you're tired, you're hungry, right? It doesn't look like it's going to work out for you. Keep going all in, and eventually you're going to hit your break. Right. So number 2 is an execution game. This is an execution game. The ones that win execute longer
And faster.
right? And they just go the extra mile. So it's an execution game. It could work out immediately, but what I've found is that the final expense gods are very, very tricky. Yeah, they exist. The sales gods, final expense God, whatever you want to call it. Something exists in a higher power, and sales will, if you keep your eyes open, sales will prove it to you, right? And so sometimes when you try to get momentum, it's like, all right, I was told from the It's Go Time podcast to go on offense, right? I'm going to do it. Okay, great. Sometimes that first lead, that's going to be your breakthrough, right? You call that first client, you write a big double or a single or whatever, it can happen. But a lot of times when you make a commitment, you make a decision, okay, I'm going on offense now, right? I see the truth. I haven't been going balls to the wall like I thought I was, right? Because it can feel like we're going balls to the wall, but when you look at your data, you're not, right? And then the final expense gods start testing us. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to throw a bunch of, unhealthy folks your way.
They're trying to see if you're real.
That's right. It's testing you, right? See, I'm going to throw a bunch of these little situations at you, and then it doesn't work out that day at a high level. Doesn't work out the next day at a high level. You got to keep going because the sales gods are testing us when we make a new decision, right? I heard from it was Tanner yesterday, one of our new guys. He said, I refuse to lose. I don't care what it takes. I refuse to lose. I don't care how long it takes me to get good at this, but I will not let the final expense gods win. And I'm like, that is the only mentality that really works, right? And that when you refuse to lose, well, when somebody's not home, that doesn't matter. When somebody's unhealthy, that doesn't matter. When somebody gets declined, that doesn't matter. When somebody hangs up on you, it doesn't matter. Whenever you can't get bank information, it doesn't matter. Whenever you can't get social, it doesn't matter, right? Whenever you get to the close and they say, I got to think about it, 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 I got to think about it. It doesn't matter. You go to the next one, right? When you refuse to lose, eventually you'll win. And a lot of times that's the quickest way to win when you just make that snap. You know, sometimes I go into the field in the morning, I'm like, I'm going to win today, right? And then I get a couple of door kills or unhealthy, a decline or something like that. And then by noon, I'm like, screw this, man. I didn't really actually want this. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Got to keep going. Let's go. And then, like, literally, it's a switch that flips in the mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna win today. And then all of a sudden, then that's that lead that's been waiting on you. You know, man, I've been thinking about this for a long time. God sent you, because that happens. It's like, God sent you. I've been thinking about this forever. And you're just the nicest person ever. Like, yeah, I'm going to do the big one.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else but you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an offensive game. It's an offensive game. It's an offensive game. Default to offense. Do I put the defense on the field, or do I put the offense on the field? Offense.
All the
every
time.
Every time.
Because no one's playing against you. Why would you be on defensive?
It's you versus you, bro. It's you versus you. And if you're not winning in your business, that means the lower self of you is winning. The doubt, the uncertainty, the lack of clarity, the lack of vision, right? Those little voices in your head of, is it going to work out for me today? And then the other shoulder saying, hell no, it ain't going to work out for you, right? Look at all the data. Look at all the data of nobody being nice to you today. Look at all the data of nobody wanting insurance today. Look at all the data of everybody being unhealthy today. It's great. You know what that actually means? Is that statistically speaking, the next person that you sit down with is going to be healthy, is going to be waiting on you, is going to want to buy. A great thought process to think about is like, dude, if you're in the muck and you're really executing at a high level, you're right around the corner from $100 app. You're right around the corner from $100 devil. And that changes everything, doesn't it?
It happened to Brock this week.
Talk about it.
First Monday and Tuesday, he only wrote 32 MP. And he's like, dude, everyone has oxygen mask on. Like
everyone in town is on oxygen.
Unhealthy, dude.
Which is not true.
It's not true. I was like, dude, that means the next person is technically not unhealtty.
Statistically speaking. It's only getting more likely that somebody's going to be healthy.
And he had this B-back who he had to keep coming back to because he had to call the companies, and companies...
She also had bingo.
Bingo night. She's like, you got to come back after 2. And he's like, why?
I got bingo with the girls.
This is bingo week. We have this once a month. It's a tournament. We're going all in. Yeah. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Let's get it, Grandma.
And then, so he finally came back. He's so persistent and consistent with it. But he was like, dude, everyone's unhealthy, but this lady's healthy. And he's like, and she needs this. She wants this. We just got to go around bingo. And so eventually he sat down, even though his mental was like, dude, everyone just doesn't want to buy. Everyone seems unhealthy. It was a $269 transfer.
Boom.
Got wrapped all 3 into one. It just made so much sense for her. We got her extra coverage, got her some low cash value back.
Come on.
And it was like, it really gave him that breakthrough. He was like, dude, are you kidding me? He's like, people do want to buy. People are healthy. And then he wrote like 400 plus that day alone.
Yeah. Yeah. The weight, the shroud, the blindfold was taken off with one lead and one app. And that's all it takes.
Takes one lead, one app to change your whole week around.
Yeah, absolutely. It could change your whole month, could change your whole quarter, right? That one house that gets you to believe again. Because this is what happens is we lose belief, don't we, Robert? You know, we go over and over and over and we're like, dude, I don't think it's going to work out for me. I don't think anybody, you know, if you're over the phone, you're like, everybody in this state, it doesn't want insurance. We get into insane thought processes, right? So we knock doors out in the sticks. And like a lot of times you'll have like 4 leads in a town of 600 people. And then you knock 3 doors. And then you're like, everyone in this town is an asshole. That's what your mind tells you, right? And you're like, dude, this is like 0.5% of the whole town, you know? And so it's like,
it can't be true.
That's just not true. But we believe it and we think it. And oftentimes we even tell other people that, you know? And so that's a really interesting thought. Like we go through interesting thought processes in the field. So you got to conquer your mind. And a great way to do that is just stay on offense. Stay on offense, right? Because eventually then you're going to sit down with that family where we call it the family that's been waiting on you. Right? The family that's super confused about their insurance. The family that is just like, you know, my insurance just went up and it's taking half of my Social Security. It's like, and I don't know what to do, right? I don't trust the stuff on TV. I don't trust the stuff through the mail, blah, 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 blah. Help me out. And then, so it just takes one lead to change your entire week around. And you actually will not put yourself in a position to see that come to be if you're on defense. So really take an honest look at yourself as, hey, have I been playing on defense in my business or have I truly been playing offense? And as Dylan had explained, sometimes defense smells and looks and feels like we're on offense. But here's a gauge. Are you working harder, faster, and smarter than everybody around you on your team? That's going to be the gauge, right? And it's like, so when do you start compared to everybody else? When do you end compared to everybody else? How many breaks are you taking compared to everybody else? How intentional are you compared to everybody else on your team, right? And so it's like, that's a good gauge, right? And again, going with lead volume kind of goes into who's on the leaderboard. It's like execution is also on that as well. So by taking out extra leads, it actually helps you execute. So what I used to do on the last day of the week, let's just say I just got a few leads left. Well, that little voice on my shoulder is saying, you can make this work, right? You got a couple of B-backs that look really good, man. Like you can make it stretch. And I'm like, nope, I'm taking out a bunch of leads just for today, right? And what that does is that helps me stay in the game on offense, right? I've already invested in leads, right? And so it just keeps me on the move. It keeps me on the go. It keeps me on the field versus wanting to go home.
And funny enough, you actually stop thinking about any negative emotion when you have 1 day left. You
I gotta
got 12 leads. I gotta move.
I gotta go.
And they're like, no, I'm not busy today. I'm busy too.
I'm busy. Let me get your book. I'll be right in.
Exactly. It's like, we gotta get in right now because I got 10 families.
Yeah, it's cool. I gotta go. Hey, it's no big deal. Here, I'll help if I can. If I can't, that's cool, right? And then you rock and roll, and then beautiful things begin to happen. So number one is you got to have them a good enough lead volume. Like, do you have enough work for today to guarantee, no matter what happens, that you have enough prospects to talk to or to at least call or knock on their door? Number two is final expense is an execution game. It's not a defensive game. All right, so get your damn defense off the field and put your offense on the field. Now, number three is a killer, and that's flexibility and freedom kills, right? Am I a foot up your ass type of manager?
No.
No.
If I'm making money, you don't complain.
Yeah. And so, if you're not making money, you better not complain. Because I take that personally. Like, I was like, oh my God, I don't have a lot of money. It's like, I take that personally, but at the same time, I look back and I'm like, hey, show me your schedule, right? How many leads are you taking out? You know, what's your execution? And then number three is that flexibility and freedom kills agents. Final expense gives us a respectable amount of freedom. Okay. A lot of times our hours become optional at times, right? And this is an interesting balance, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So where have you seen, either in yourself or other teammates, where they had taken advantage of the flexibility and the freedom that final expense gives us? And where's been an example of that, either you or in another agent?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times here. I used to have this guy who was really good at what we did. Really good at what we did. Man, he was making a lot of money in such a short period of time. And it was crazy because when he did really good, he would take the next week off. And like, dude, if you're making money, I'm not going to really complain. But here's the problem. Lifestyle creeped, went really high.
Started making more money, started spending more money.
And then
that'll kill you.
And so then his net worth went down. And his first reason was it's the business.
Of course.
And I was like, look, dude, you've been
easy out.
Easy out. You've been there for 8 months, but you only worked for 4. Like, imagine if you worked.
Got to keep it real.
Imagine if you worked like 9 to 5. You would have been booming this thing. But you went on like 20 trips. You've done this, you've done that. Like, no wonder your income went down. You're not working and you're spending. Like 1 + 1 equals 2.
Yeah.
But what happened was like just mutual agreement. Like, it was best for him to leave just because like he needs structure when it came to his schedule. He likes routine, he likes structure, and that's what we respect. And then I realized, like, holy smokes, we have so much flexibility here that if you're not structured, like if you don't build that structure for yourself, it will crumble you.
Exactly.
And
sure.
You can't help but to blame it.
Of course.
Because that's just the first.
It's got to be the business. It's got to be the leads. It's got to be the this. It's got to be the that. It's like, no. It's like, you've been using the flexibility and the freedom too much. Right. So you said agent A, right? And this happens all the time.
It happens all the time. And there's no hate towards those agents at all. It's like,
it's about bringing awareness to it.
Exactly. Because like, anyone can be good at life insurance. Anyone can be good at FE.
100%.
But it's not made for everyone. And that's okay. Like, that's made for it because it's like everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but not everyone has the patience to be it. Not
or
the
discipline, self-discipline.
Exactly. And that's okay too, right? So it's like, I don't have any hate towards that. Towards those type of people that are like, oh, I want freedom and I want this. Like, that's what life should be. However, you have to be disciplined and you have to structure yourself to be able to optimize what you're doing so you can.
So that I can have the freedom.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. The biggest mistake you can do is once you have a big week is to take the foot off the gas. That's the biggest mistake. So you make $5,000 in a week, right? And your lead investment was $1,000. Great. You made $4,000, right? Do not, unless it's planned, do not take the foot off the gas. Do not take the foot off the gas. It's the biggest mistake. Because what happens is you write, let's just say you make $4,000 profit in 1 week. Okay. Then you take the foot off the gas. You're like, oh, I'm going to take Monday off, just chill. Got to do this, got to do that. Right. And then you kind of lull into Tuesday. And then it's a kind of a tougher Tuesday. Oh, and then guess what happens? You get an email of a chargeback happening. And then you're like, oh God, I got to ramp it up. Then you try to ramp it up on Wednesday. You got commission breath because now you need to make money and it doesn't work out for you. Then Thursday, you're like, oh my God, you know what? This week sucks. I'm going to get it next week.
I feel defeated. I'm not making any money. I'm not going to pay for more leads. And then for some reason, that $5,000, that $4,000 profit you just made just turned to $2,000 profit for 2 weeks.
And then you're trying to catch momentum on the third week, and now you're playing from behind, right? Now you're like, okay, I have to get after it, and then all these negative emotions come up. So the big spikes and dips in your income, in your consistency, and in your schedule is a killer, and that is because we don't have, we're not using the freedom to our advantage, right? So you need to be working your way to freedom, not using the freedom, and then working your way to pick up the pieces. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
So let's see. I'm going to Florida in a week and a half, right? And so I'm ramping it up before I go, right? That way I can be paying for the stuff in cash, in a big old surplus of cash, right? Things that's in the budget versus going on to the vacation and then coming back and picking up the pieces. So the flexibility and the freedom kills agents. Here's what you got to do. I think it's episode 3, 4, or 5, something like that, about production. Like, don't let your emotions get in the way of your schedule. Right. So if you set a schedule for yourself, which you need to have a schedule set for yourself. If not, go to your upline and say, hey, write me out a schedule that guarantees me success. And then you stick to that schedule no matter what.
I just did that for someone.
Talk us about it.
Yeah. He also needed structure with himself, but he wanted to get good. It's like, dude, I just want to get really good at this. It's like, I'm tired of, playing defense.
Yep.
It's time for me to take my life to the next level. I said, okay, let's figure out what you're doing. And so now his structure is still very flexible. I just said every Monday, leave by 10 a.m. If you can promise me that, you'll be in the field by a lot quicker than you would have before.
On average.
And you would be writing a lot more.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. And we worked on the script. We really tailored how he should be structuring, how he runs leads, how he does this, how he does that. And I think he's writing 400 MP every single week now.
Did he write 800 last week?
Yeah.
We're talking about the same guy? There we go.
Same guy.
Doctor? Is
Dr.
he a doctor?
Brahms.
Dr. Brahms. There we go. Absolutely. And so the leak in his week, which we'll talk about in a second, the leak in his week was he would drag an ass in Monday, right? That's a very common problem, right? Dr. Brahms, if you're listening, this isn't a kick in the nuts to you. This is a pervasive problem, right? So 2 years, my first 2 years, in my mind, I was like, I can still get my premium without even working on Monday or using Monday as a chill day, right? But what I found is when you start your week on Tuesday with 0 every single week, you're playing from behind, right? Imagine playing basketball and there's 4 quarters, and then you just don't even put your star player in the first quarter, right? Think about what their win-loss would be by the end of the year. Like, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by using the flexibility and using your freedom, right, in not the appropriate way. So I hope that point gets across. Is once I realized that I kept shooting myself in the foot, because in my mind I'm like, na boo boo, stick your head in doo doo. I don't have a boss. I don't have somebody that really gives a poop about if I work today or not. Like, they'll be pissed if they knew the truth. But like, because I keep shooting myself in the foot. But once I realized, and it took about 100 weeks, that's 2 years, about 100 weeks of data, being like, I don't like starting off the week on Tuesday with 0 or with 1 presentation or 0 presentations. Like, you're fighting an uphill battle every single week. So get a quick start. That's what we're saying is get a quick start, however you can do that. What can you do on Sunday to make your Monday easier, right? Is it setting up all your stuff, getting organized, setting out a game plan? What is your schedule? And stick to that schedule like no other. And that'll help you actually be more flexible in the future. It's kind of counterintuitive, but by dominating, being on offense, keeping and maintaining a schedule no matter what, that actually gives you more flexibility and that actually gives you more freedom. Right? So like B-Law, what does he say about Mondays?
He crushes it Mondays. That's his
super important to him.
super important. That's his most important day to him.
Most important day, right? So then he can get his premium, his momentum.
It sets the standard for him.
Sets the standard, right? And then it's just kind of downhill from there, right? So easier coasting, right? Because then you hit your number faster. That monkey is off your back as far as lead investment or like, am I going to make money this week or something like that? So you got to get that monkey off your back as quickly as possible. And that's activity. Right? That's what we're talking about is activity, lead volume, right? And working your balls off to making sure that you have to get you flexibility and freedom in the business. So if you don't feel like you got flexibility, if you don't feel like you got freedom, if you don't feel like you got money, you ain't running the right play. That's all I'm going to say there. So number 3 is flexibility and freedom will kill agents. Now, anything else on that?
No, that's pretty much it. I guess the only thing I would say about freedom is that it's basically like building a chair. You have to sit there and actually build the chair before you can sit down. A lot of people just want to sit down.
Yeah.
But then the chair never gets built.
And they're like, ow, why is this business not working? Oh my God.
So for you to build freedom, you have to build the chair first.
Simple as that. Simple as that. So flexibility and freedom kills agents. And if you're in the mud, if you're in the muck, if you're broke, it's because you've been using the freedom too much. You've been too flexible on your schedule. You've not truly committed to dominating in your business. Truth hurts, but that's what it is. So number 4, by the way, these are all mistakes we've made.
Oh yeah,
these are all mistakes we've made.
Everything I did.
We're not saying that we've completely solved this issue in every teammate on our team.
Yeah.
We're not saying that these thoughts do not come back up into our head sometimes and or all of the time.
Yeah, my first week ever in this business, I read 400. Next week, I went to Vegas, blew all of it out. So, I've learned my lessons.
Then you're coming back with no money. You need to make money. You might have gotten some chargebacks along the way, and momentum's down the tubes. And then
these are things we've all been through.
Oh,
we're not
100%.
criticizing. These are our stories that we've lived.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone, right? These are all common mistakes that we all make. So that's all we're highlighting today in every episode moving forward. So, because the truth. That's what will make you a much better agent is you got to be honest with yourself. It's like, man, I really haven't been dedicating my Mondays to have a hot start to make my weeks better, statistically speaking. And it's just, you got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I never worked a Monday until like 6 months after I started this business.
Yeah. Isn't that wild? Now he's in school on Mondays, but
still,
at the
it
same
still
time.
sucked.
Yeah, absolutely. So like starting at 0 on Tuesday is a slippery and failing formula. So now number 4, how are we doing on time? Number 4 is track your stats, and we'll wrap it up. Number 4 is track your stats. This is huge. All right. Don't wait for somebody else to track your stats. Don't wait for somebody to come to you and look at your stats. Right. You got to be the one that looks at your stats. And so if we go to a schedule, this is my suggestion for you. So if you're going 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, write down or put it in a spreadsheet or however you need to stay organized with this is how many presentations, just whatever KPIs, key performance indexes in your business that is important. And for us, it's how many presentations that we have, how many applications we have per day. Right. And you can put premium on there if you want. So for Monday, it's 2 sits, 2 apps. Tuesday, it's 3 sits, 1 app. Wednesday, it's so on and so forth. Right. And you just track it. Right. You don't need to judge it. You don't need to do anything with it at first. Right. You just capture your statistics.
Just document what you're doing.
Just document. Right. And then at the end of the week or at the end of the day, then you go to your upline and you're like, hey, this is what I've been running through. And you adjust like, hey, what do you see that I don't see? And we had a teammate that came to me. He's like, dude, I'm not making any money. I don't have momentum. I don't have confidence. Like, I don't know what's going on. I said, show me your stats, buddy. And he showed me the last 8 weeks. So he's been coachable and at this time and now. And he, he's great. He's our number 2 agent last year. And what I found was I was looking at his stats and I was like, and I saw it and I'm like, what do you see? He's like, dude, I don't know. I'm screwed. Like it just like I feel like I'm doing everything possible. And I'm like, okay, great. Look at your Mondays. And it was 0 sits, 0 apps. And then the next week it was 1 sit, 0 apps. And then the next week it was 1 sit, 0 apps. Then the next week it was 0 sits, 0 apps. Then the next week it was 1 sit, 0 apps. I'm like, you haven't written an app on a Monday in 6-7 weeks. I was like, you don't have a presentation problem. You don't have a don't know what to say in the close problem. You don't have an objection problem. You don't have an intro problem, right? You don't even have a money problem. You got an execution problem on Mondays. So the only thing you need to fix for the next 6 weeks is get 3 presentations on Monday. That's it. I don't care what you write, but get 3 presentations. That'll quintuple what you're currently doing on that single day, right? That gives you the opportunity to catch fire in your weeks versus playing from behind. So tracking your stats is track your Mondays, how many sits, how many apps, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and then your weekends if you're rolling on the weekends as well. And then you want to fill the leaks in your weeks. So be observant, don't be judgmental, be curious, not critical, is where can I fill the gaps in my week, right? It could be you're having hot starts, but you're not finishing, right? Because you have hot starts, you're like, okay, great. I'm getting deposits rolling in on Wednesday and Thursday, right? Oh, hell yeah. Like I wrote more than I usually do. Hey, what was your schedule, bro? Did you say you were going to work Friday? Then why you chilling? Right? And so fill the leaks in your weeks, right? Dylan leads a team and they all have binders to where it has, it's awesome. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's basically Monday.
Stat tracker?
Yeah, it's basically Monday through Saturday. Because my whole team, we all prep Sunday. So that's just what we do. We're going to make Monday super easy for us. And we always track how many sits, how many apps, and then we always track the hours we're working. And we also have 2 extra, 1 sit before noon and 1 in a sit after 8. And so that's a super easy check mark. And it's super easy to figure out what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
For me, I never got a sit before noon on Mondays. And me and
Never
Pat,
thought about it.
Never thought about it. Me and Pat have a couple of meetings on Monday. So I remember I was complaining to you. I was like, dude, I'm struggling. I was like, when we first had this one meeting, it was super easy. I was still getting 3 sits, 2 apps, no problem. But now I'm barely getting 2 sits. I'm not writing any apps. I know on that third sit, that third presentation, that is where my apps are going to come in. I was like, I could just see it already. And he's like, okay, let me see your schedule. And it was because I was not knocking before noon. If I get a presentation in before noon, I can squeeze 3 presentations in, which I have now. And that's when your income can start stacking up. But you really have to detach yourself from the data and be really soft on yourself, but be really hard on the results. You got to, because if you're really hard on the results, you know what to fix. And you just give yourself grace for making mistakes, because humans are born to make mistakes so we can learn and so we can grow. So that's where I would say, like, always track so you can change, you can pivot, you can change what playbook you're doing, what plays working, what's not, and you can really just boom it, hit touchdowns over and over and over again.
You got to track it so you can see, right? That's part of like watching game film. It's like, what, like, you know, if imagine LeBron James, in his heyday or whatever, scoring 0 points in the fourth quarter. Like Sports Center would be blasting that. It's like, dude, like the coach doesn't even play LeBron in the fourth quarter
because he scores 0 points.
He scores 0 points, and by the way, you're LeBron in your own business, right? And so sometimes we bench ourselves at the beginning of the week. Sometimes we bench ourselves in the middle of the week. Sometimes we bench ourselves at the end of the week. And so by tracking your stats, you'll see where you're benching yourself. Does that make sense? And so you got to fill the leaks in your weeks. Like, the coach would get fired. He would be put on a crucifix, on a cross in the middle of the streets if he did not start LeBron in the fourth quarter and it was a close game. They're like, you are the dumbest coach in the world, right? Like, he would get fired. And so why do we do that in our business? It's because we're just not aware. So tracking our stats brings awareness to the truth of our business and keeps us out of the emotional side to where we start playing the blame game.
Make sure you go up to your upline when it comes to being your coach, right? You are the LeBron.
Use him or her. Use them. Beat them up.
You are the LeBron in your business, but even LeBron has a coach. Even Michael Jordan had a coach. Several coaches, right? It's because you might be the best player on your team, might be the best player in your life, but you still need a third perspective on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, so you can make adjustments, so you can keep getting better and you keep winning championships. In our business, it's so you can build whatever you want to build here.
Yeah, build your agency, build up your net worth, build up your book of business, build up your confidence, right? All beautiful things that come from our wild industry of final expense. So, in review, as we can wrap it up, is number one, you got to make sure you have the lead volume that equips you with enough work. That's it, right? We're in a lead heavy industry. Okay. That's ammunition, right? That's troops. That's supplies, right? For the battle, for the war. And a lot of times we're not giving ourselves enough reinforcements in that. So lead volume, don't be scared, man. Don't be scared. This is very different. Like most of us, I think all of us mostly come from places where we don't have a lead investment. So of course it's going to be strange. Of course it's going to be scary, right? But you got to make sure that you have enough inventory and ammo to make sure you have a full body of work on a daily and weekly basis. And we can talk about the quantities later. But that's number one is lead volume. You got to have that. If you don't have lead volume, you're running a race with one leg, right? You're trying to play basketball with no shoes on. Right? You're trying to play guitar with no guitar, or missing strings, whatever. I'm looking at a guitar right now. So number two is final expenses and execution game. Default to offense. Default to offense. Don't play scared. Put your offense on the field. Take your defense off the field. Okay? 95-5 rule. 95% of your time, energy, and money goes into producing more income. And 5% is how can I cut cost? How can I do that sort of stuff? Only 5%. Right? Not too much. It's an execution over defense all day long. Number three is flexibility and freedom kills agents, right? You can build a very free life. But if you're just starting in the business, like you've got to execute hard right now. Right. We get paid a lot of residual as time goes on. It's like Sprint, Corey Price, one of the legends in our company, he says, sprint to your 9 months. A new guy, sprint to your 9 months, right? That's when your residuals start really kicking in. And once they start, they don't stop, right?
Always.
So flexibility and freedom kills agents, right? Work like no other right now so you can live like no other later. And number four is track all your stats. Do you even know what's going on in your business? Like, do you even know what your schedule is? Do you even have a schedule? Are you sticking to that schedule, right? Track all your stats to see what's going on your Mondays, what's going on in your Tuesdays, what's going on in your Wednesdays, what's going on in your Thursdays, what's going on in your Fridays, and analyze and fill the leaks in your weeks. It's one of the biggest and pervasive problems. Oh, I haven't had that good of a week. As a manager, that sounds like truth. Mm-hmm. Oh man,
that sucks.
That sucks. That must be a tough week. No. I'm like, oh man, that's terrible. Show me your schedule. Right? When did you start on Monday? 5:00. Cool. When did you start on Tuesday? 11:30. When did you end on Tuesday? 6. I'm like, great. You worked 8 hours. You're not having a shit week. Right? Your hours are shit, right? It's 1 + 1 = 2. So track your stats so you can see what the truth of your business is. And once you have the truth, then you can make calculated and strategic and impressive adjustments that are absolutely going to increase your income, absolutely increase your confidence, absolutely increase your momentum, and blow up your bank account. And you're going to have better experiences with your clients. You're just going to run into better situations. You're going to run into friendlier people. You're going to run into healthier people. I don't know what all that is, but there's something going on in the universe. Is the universe and the final expense gods, the sales gods, God, he respects people that are on offense, right? He respects people that know their numbers. He respects people that invest in their business, right? And gives when we say no to the freedom and flexibility for now.
Mm-hmm. And then it'll come later.
And it'll come later.
The more you give, the more you'll get.
I promise. Yeah. And so this is my 11th year in the business. I just keep having more freedom and more freedom and more freedom. But I'm delaying it a lot of times, right? I'm going to Florida in 2 weeks. But it's like, it's more free, right? Because I don't have to worry about like, hey, is this credit card going to bounce? Hey, I hope I have some money in the debit card, right? I haven't felt that in a decade.
It's a sucky feeling.
It's a shitty feeling, man. It's a shitty feeling. So we are here to help you in your final expense business. We're here to help you build a final expense agency wherever you're at on the planet or in the country, wherever you're at in IMOs. Like, hey, we're here to help you. And so we're going to be really, really, really dialed in on the final expense stuff. It's what we like to talk about. It's what we dream about. It's what we wake up thinking about. It's what we write down in our thing. Man, we live, eat, and breathe this stuff. So if you're in final expense, you found home, and you just found the #1 final expense podcast in the world.
I really do dream about knocking doors sometimes. It's kind of crazy.
Hey, it's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible, right? Because where were you at before? Were you dreaming about coming into work, or did you loathe it? Hate it.
I hated work.
Ah,
oh, okay.
That's right. That's right. That's
no,
right.
I wanted to dream anything but work before this.
You can fall in love with your business, right? You can get a grip on your business. You can be successful in your business, right? You just have to have the right information, and you're going to get it all day, every day on this podcast. So we love you from the bottom of our hearts. You can do this. If you're thinking about quitting in final expense, don't do it. Don't do it. Go back and start listening from episode #1 all the way to here, right? We had a teammate. He's like, dude, I was down in the dumps, man. I was in between my ears all week long. And then I put on he's a teammate, and he put on the It's Go Time podcast. What did Landon write this week? Y'all know?
He wrote like 5,900 AP.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so about $6,000. Awesome. Hell yeah. Right. And so you got to have the right information, especially as you're running around out there, either in the field or over the phones. You need to be pumping your mind full of good information, because if you don't, you'll be listening to your mind. And our mind is not our friend.
Always. It's your enemy.
That's right. It's like, oh, you can take a break.
Oh, yeah, you work so hard.
Yeah, why don't you just take lunch for a little bit, decompress, and then you can come back and get after it? No! Call the next one. Call the next one, fool. All right, we love you. Public service announcement. It is free to be kind. Our clients deserve us to be kind and respectful. Our clients are precious people. Our clients need our help. Our clients need us to show up with a great attitude. Our clients need us to show up as the highest version of ourselves. They deserve it. And when we operate with that kind of perspective, better situations arise. Right. And they're like, you know what? I don't normally talk to people like you. You know what? I don't normally give out my bank account information. You know what? I don't normally give out my social security. You know what? I don't really give people the time of day. I don't really let anybody in my house.
I usually don't pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's right. But they will for you, because you're showing up with the right energy. You're showing up with the right strategies. You're showing up on offense. You're showing up with the heart to serve. But it is important to be kind. Be kind in traffic. Be kind to strangers. Right? You matter on a daily basis. How are you operating out there? Are we operating all moopy, gloopy, and dopey and stopey, or are we executing with a smile on our face? Because if you can smile while going through final expense on a daily basis, you're on the brink of being invincible. And I like having that feeling of invincibility in a straight commission sales role. Don't you, Dylan?
Always.
So we love you guys. This is the #1 final expense podcast in the world. You better stick around, because we're about to light your butt on fire. We're about to light your bank account on fire. We're about to light your business on fire. We love you. And Dylan, what time is it?
It's go time, baby.
It's go time, baby. Come on. Let's go.